Hello again. This is Mandate at 12 minutes past 8 o'clock. We have a newly elected member for Derby Ward, though it has to be said that his term is going to be fairly short because there's a rearrangement of the council happening in 2020. It's Andrew Bentley, and he's the Isle of Man Green Party Chairman. He's become the first successful Green Party candidate to win in a Manx election campaign. Welcome to the studio, Mr.
Good morning.
Thanks for here. You're a local architect and a founding Green Party member. Now, just 18% went out and cast their votes, but of that 18%, he won 42% of the vote in Derby Ward, 52 votes ahead of the nearest candidate. Do you think you won because you're a Green member, despite being a Green member, or because of the warmth and strength of your character?
Good question. I think I learnt a lot along the way. I mean, this is something very, very new to me. If somebody told me a month ago that I was going to be here, I wouldn't have believed you. And as we went along, it was...
So it's not the politics that's drawn you, it's pushing the green issues that you think is most important?
There were two sides to it for me. One was the architect who's always been very frustrated at the appearance of Central Douglas, and the other side to me was the chairman of the Green Party that always wants to advance a responsible agenda in how we live on this planet.
Well, can I go back to my question then? Do you think people voted for you because you're a Green candidate?
I think it was a mix of factors, and I think it always is in elections, a mix of factors. With Manx politics, that direct contact is very, very important. People want to see the whites in your eyes. They want to see you on their doorstep. And that is absolutely fundamental for every for every candidate. And certainly when you look at the results, the three of us that did a lot more legwork got bigger votes.
So it's getting in touch with the people that's important, not necessarily all your policies.
I think the Green vote was an element. I think connecting with people was an element. I think putting the legwork in is an element. It all comes together. I think the reassuring thing from the Green Party point of view is that the title Green Party didn't put people off in big numbers, and I think that's the fundamental. I'll
just go into the fact you're an architect in a moment, but first of all, will your decisions be influenced in all aspects by environmental aspects?
I said that there were three things that really I will argue for: sustainability, inclusivity and design quality. They're the three things that I will base all my arguments on. So sustainability is obviously a green issue. You can't do that on your own against 17 people that are different, but you can always argue the case for it. And I think that within the council there are plenty of people who are of that mindset that they will be willing to address such issues and put that agenda forward.
Can I just give you a for instance? If we look out the window into the bay sometimes, we see a patch of white, which is way, which is put basically flush and forget into the bay because the alternatives would be too expensive. Is that right in your view?
I don't want to comment on that. I don't know all the details.
But it's in Douglas, isn't it? It's in Douglas Bay, so it's part of the council's area.
I think that's part of the Department of Environment, really, isn't it?
But just the aspect of it, of actually, because something is too expensive to do anything alternative to that, do you think in some cases you have to be practical?
I think there's always a case for being pragmatic. In fact, the fact that the seagulls around there suggests that maybe there's something they actually like there.
Yeah, they enjoy it. They don't say no. Yeah.
So it's not something that I know enough detail on to make too strong a comment on. So I'd rather not make a comment until I've got my facts straight. But this is one of the reasons that I think the Green Party is very good, that we can actually have people around us within the party that we can refer to and say, what should we do here? And we've got some pretty big brains in there behind us, and I think that's a really important resource.
Just quickly on the fact you're an architect, Douglas needs a bit of looking at in areas, doesn't it? Will you be pushing in those areas? And which areas?
I argued very much on a case of ambition. I think that's the starting point for it all, that we need to have an aspiration to rub shoulders with Valletta, to rub shoulders with St Helier, to be on their level.
Valletta is in Malta, obviously.
Yes.
Right.
And of course, Valletta, being a member of the European Union, wants to rub shoulders with Paris and Rome. So we need to spruce the place up. But I think it's more than just a lick of paint and new buildings. I think it's a question of vibrancy and what you want your capital to be.
So you'll be working towards that. You've only got 2 years to do it because, of course, Derby Ward disappears in 2020. Will you be standing again for another ward after that, if you can?
Let's
see
how I enjoy it. I've only got 2 years, so yes.
Andrew Bentley of the Green Party, thank you very much for joining us in the programme this morning. Sometimes the simplest solutions enact the biggest changes. There were complaints last year when residents trying to telephone police headquarters were left hanging with no one there to take their potentially urgent calls. The constabulary apologised, took on new front desk staff, a difficult decision at a time when police budgets are so stretched. But it turns out that the answer was as simple as an answer phone.